Hello everybody. It is May 28th, 2022, and I'm out at the test tank today with another motor. I just finished this one up this morning. Been working on it for the last week or so when I could get a chance to. This is a 1962, or what was a 1962, Evinrude Fastwin, 18 horse. This motor came to me in pieces. Supposed to have been complete, which, I mean, most of the parts were there. But this thing was about as big a mess as any motor that I've actually decided to go ahead and put back together. If I didn't like these motors, this thing would have gotten parted out, part of it scrapped, and the rest of it gone to parts donors in the parts pile. But there was so much wrong with this thing that I'm sure I'll miss something. And if you don't care, go ahead and skip ahead. The lower unit, will start at the bottom. The lower unit was basically junk. The only thing I saved from it was the skeg and the water pump housing. So the water pumps, they had a water pump screw broken off. Someone tried to drill that out, missed the center of the screw, so the hole was off center. So I ended up replacing the upper housing with one from a 1957 Johnson 18. I saved the skeg. I replaced the gear set. The gears were, the drive lugs on the gears were rounded off. The clutch dog was trashed. The bearing head was galled. The end of the drive shaft that passes through that bearing was galled. Tons of extra clearance. It just wobbled around in there, something awful. The forward gear bearing was wiped out, egged out. Nothing I could save out of that. It was basically all junk except the pinion gear. So I did save the pinion gear, but it didn't end up back in here. I had a full gear set from another lower that I had taken apart sometime back in the parts inventory, so I took the match set and put it in here. I should have probably dry fitted it and fitted the spacer for the pinion. It's a little bit snug. I think it'll wear in okay. I'll just run it for a while, change oil, and try it again. If it ends up not wearing in, I'll take it apart and fix it, but it should be all right. I put a new impeller in it. I replaced the lower, or the impeller plate with the one from the 57. That one was pretty well new. And I reused the impeller housing from this original motor. This thing had a broken shift handle, so I replaced it with one from looks like about a 59, maybe early 60s Johnson. Had to notch it for the hood clearance, but it works fine now. It had 3 of the 4 lower pan mounts broken. The only reason the one that I saved wasn't broken was because it was on a broken piece of the mount itself. So the forward mount got replaced with a Johnson one, because that's what I have in my drawer, and with a slight modification those fit and work. So that's what's on there now in the front. This one had no handles. It had roll pins in the transom clamp screws for handles. One side didn't have a pad on it, so I replaced the pad with a new clip. I took the roll pins out and put actual handles on it that I had in my drawer. I had to replace the pin in one of them. I had a pin in the handle, so those are Johnson handles. They've been trimmed off because the ends were broke, whatever, but I've got actual handles on it good now. The right hand or starboard transom clamp was already replaced with one from a later Evinrude. It looks like it's probably 69, 70-ish by the color. Getting into the power head, the carburetor was missing the link arm that opens the throttle when you pull the choke. I had a rebuilt carburetor off of another 18 that I had in a box, so I just put the whole carb on. I'll make a new link bar and fix the other carburetor later, but this one got transplanted with another one. Still got the original fuel pump on it that was on it. Hopefully that works. I haven't tested it. I put a new throttle cam roller on this. Put new fuel lines on it, clean the fuel filter, new filter bowl gasket, new plugs, plug wires, plug wire boots, one new coil. It had a Sierra coil in it that didn't fit very well and it was rubbing the flywheel, so I took that out and replaced it with an OEM coil. The other one's a Proof-Rex coil. It was fine. One set of points that was in it wouldn't adjust properly. I would get spark, but I wouldn't get the correct adjustment, so that came out. I put another, replaced that set of points with the new one. The other ones were almost brand new, so it's got two essentially new sets of points in it now. Set the timing. The condensers were good. That was one of the few things that I was able to salvage. Of course, I had to pull the power head off because I had to fix all the mounts for the lower pan. So I got one new power head base gasket in this. It had one of the screws for the thermostat cover twisted off in the cylinder head. I was going to swap the cylinder head, but I had 7 of the 10 head bolts I couldn't get loose without breaking them. So I decided to go ahead and try to extract that broken stud. I managed to get that out. Thermostat was shot, so I put a new thermostat in it. I put a new gasket in, new screws, put that all back together. The recoil was broken on this thing. The spring was broken. It had rodent pee or whatever had corroded it, and it just wasn't worth saving. So I replaced the rewind. I put a new rope pull on it. That's one of my 3D printed pulls. And that's all I can think of at the moment. Of course, it's got new gear oil in it now, so this is the first start. We're going to try it and see how it goes. I really don't know what to expect. It should run. It's got good spark. It's got good compression. It fired on fogging oil when I got the power head back together. This will be the first try to start it on fuel, so we'll see what happens. This is a 24-to-1 motor, and I am running it on 24-to-1. Well, it started pretty good. The power head being solid is the only reason this thing got saved. Pumping plenty of water. Look at that rope pull. Also made the tiller grip. Forward. yet. It's still at initial settings. Seems to be a pretty good runner so far. Next up, boat test. Till next time, thanks for watching. Keep your prop out of the mud.